War today is war of machines and science. To fight this war, we must have millions of trained specialists. West Point and Annapolis have speeded up and expanded beyond their limits to help meet this demand. But they can train only a small number of the men we need. In the 1,500 colleges and universities throughout the United States, we have the world's largest and finest facilities to meet this need of trained manpower. Dr. Edward C. Elliott, president of Purdue University, now with the War Manpower Commission in Washington, will tell you briefly how they are being used.
As never before, war demands the trained mind of youth. Today, the colleges and universities of the nation have become centers where young men and women are being trained for their war jobs. Of these 1.25 million students, 800,000 are young men. All of these students have been told by President Roosevelt to stay at their studies until they are called to their duty. They are staying, mostly at their own expense and without vacation, for that training which the armed and the war production forces have neither time nor equipment. The scenes to follow have been selected from the activities of a few of the 1,500 institutions. Let us see what they are doing.
About 600 college airfields over the nation have already started the careers of nearly 80,000 new flyers. This program of the Civil Aeronautical Authority is given expert instructors to students who enlist in the Army or Navy Reserves. These fields give training to the 33,000 men needed for this year's quota in half the time taken before the war. Upon graduation, many college flying classes enter advanced fields in squadrons to fly together in combat. They bring the effective teamwork of American athletes to the dogfights in the air. But it takes 36 men to keep each four-motor bomber flying. In colleges all over the country, ground school classes are taught the fundamentals of flying, the construction of motors and how the various kinds work, and meteorology, the science that charts 1,000 bombers on long raids to their objectives and safely home again. Aviation plants need men to design the planes of the future. At many aeronautical departments, like this one at the University of Virginia, students test new designs in the wind tunnel. College machine shops give student engineers practical experience with the tools that make war products. These classes in mechanical designing and inspecting war materials send men and women to the plants that build our tanks, guns, and machines. Electrical engineers, like mechanical engineers, are for the most part enlisted in the armed forces. These Signal Corps students learn to operate plane and submarine detectors. And classes like these train men to establish the communication centers at the battlefronts. Medical schools are turning out doctors and nurses faster than ever before. Many have established complete hospital units ready for duty abroad. Doctors in the making, signed for active service months ahead of graduation, are specializing in war medicine. Student blood banks supply valuable plasma to all parts of the world. Army and Navy intelligence branches need men versed in the languages of our allies. The knowledge of military phrases, aviation slang, and diplomatic terms hastens understanding. Censorship and decoding agencies need translators and listeners for foreign broadcasts. At Harvard, the Chinese-Japanese library is used to prepare students for the study of Oriental relations. Learning the language of Brazil as well as of the Spanish-speaking countries. And here at the University of Texas, the study of all Latin American affairs help to promote a better understanding of our southern neighbors. Laboratories in hundreds of colleges are working on problems assigned by government agencies. Scientists working with selected students contribute valuable secret information and new materials that will keep our armed forces the best equipped in the world. Servicemen with books, now a common sight on the campus. These sailors stationed at Purdue compete for higher ratings as electricians' mates. University facilities and faculties are being used to train Army and Navy men and officers in all parts of the country. At Dartmouth, Harvard, Notre Dame, and here at Cornell, for instance, commissioned specialists from civilian ranks are learning Navy organization and customs. Engineer officers study the operation and maintenance of diesel motors. This military government class meets in the University of Virginia Law School. High-ranking officers of the United States Army learn how to govern occupied territories. To keep our soldiers healthy while fighting in the tropics, these Army medical officers study the treatment of tropical diseases at the famed Tulane Medical School. Quartermaster cadets at Harvard School of Business learn the tough job of running our many Army camps. They learn how to supervise camp kitchens to see that our soldiers get the best of cooked foods. The problem of feeding our armed forces with diets rich in vitamins is being solved by many college nutrition departments. These Cornell students are working on high vitamin foods to be condensed in small blocks and carried in aviators' kits and lifeboats. This nutrition department at the University of California is dehydrating food without losing valuable vitamin content. Here it is dehydrated to 1/5 of its former size. This allows one ship to carry the load of many to our troops abroad. Like most American colleges, Hampton Institute offers many courses in war training. This radio mechanics class prepares boys about to be inducted into the Army for specialized duty. One phase of research in these laboratories is the development of new chemicals which will be more effective than any now known. While learning to take their places with skilled mechanics in the defense industry, these students are turning out valuable war materials. Men already in the war industries, as well as students, are taking step-up courses to meet the demand for skilled laborers at nearby shipyards. There are now 218,000 college students enrolled in the Army ROTC courses who are enlisted in some branch of the armed forces. These Purdue cadets, part of the largest college field artillery unit in the country, drill with fully motorized field equipment. When the full course is completed, they're ready to enter active duty as well-trained soldiers. Basic training for all ROTC cadets is given in the classrooms by officers well-schooled in warfare. At this California class, book learning supplements the practical training of handling modern rifles and pistols, assembling machine guns, and operating heavy artillery. Well-equipped units in hundreds of colleges put theory to practice. Here, one is using gunfire control instruments, and another, field communication equipment. These Texas A&M cadets learn how to prepare quickly for gas raids, and how it feels if they're a little too late. Veterans of many battles give cadets the benefit of their years of experience. 27 naval ROTC units throughout the country, like this Georgia Tech group, give students a well-rounded knowledge of naval tactics and warfare. This California class studies the torpedo. The Tulane group applies the mathematics of sighting a gun to be ready for enemy targets. Though many miles from water, a Virginia class solves the problems of navigation. Supplementing practice ashore, future officers board training ships to gain welcome experience at sea. But military training and book learning are not enough to convert these students into an efficient fighting force. Physical fitness is a primary necessity in the making of a soldier. At the University of North Carolina, cadets of the Naval Pre-Flight School set an example. Boxing teaches alertness and self-defense, hand-to-hand combat, how to take a knife from the enemy. Students gain confidence by knowing how to master any emergency they might face. For instance, every cadet must learn to swim well, how to jump correctly from a ship at sea, and how to swim to safety under burning oil. These are the college men today. Hardened bodies, technically skilled, fully trained, graduating into a world at war.